Hey guys, it's editor Andrew here. A few things I wanted to go over before we start the episode. So it looks like I was pretty dumb and ended up recording my part of the audio for this episode on the laptop mic and not the mic that I have, which is the one I'm using now. So you're going to tell later on in the video, you're going to tell actually right off the bat that my audio quality is a lot worse than the other two. The way that we record this now, it's harder to edit out some inconvenient noises that are going to be in the episode, so you'll hear a little bit more of like chair squeaks, us setting down things. Sometimes we'll clap during the episode and I edit that out. But there's a lot of that left in now because the way we do this, I don't have as much time to edit that out. Now I'm going to figure out how to do it between this episode and the next one. The laptop shut down at the end. The laptop that I was recording on shut down right at the very end. Like the power went out, or not the power, the power in the laptop was low, like near the end, and I was trying to kind of speed it up, but I didn't make it in time. So like the last 2 minutes, my audio is not in it. It's not that big of a deal. And then there's AC in the background. It is currently like over 100 during the day, especially at the time of recording. So we're keeping that AC on as much as possible. We'll try and turn it off next episode, like before we start recording. But just letting you know, that's what that like humming sound is in the background, is the AC. Currently in California, it's super hot, so like over 100 degrees most days now. So that's why that's there. But we'll try and kind of shape this stuff up. Next episode should be a little bit cleaner than this one. So that's all I wanted to say. Back to the regularly scheduled programming.
Coming at you live from our apartment in the heart of Roseville, California. I'm your host, Andrew, and with me as always are my two co-hosts,
Matt.
Roger.
And this is the Cryptid vs. Cryptid podcast. Now play that wild music.
All right, we're back, and we have hit
the big
what?
milestone.
I know.
Yeah.
1,000 downloads.
Oh my god, it's crazy. It's crazy.
This is pretty fucking wild, bro. You think we were at 0 before? In like what, 2 or 3 months?
No, what? Because we started at the start of the year, so it's been like
it's 5 or 6.
Five or six months now.
Yeah. It's like 5.5, right? Because no, it's almost 6. Yeah, because we started end of January. So, oh man, crazy.
I think.
I mean, let me just pull up the statistics and stuff. How many episodes do we have in total? Probably around like 12 or 13 episodes.
Yeah, I think this is 13. Ooh, first episode.
Don't say that.
Cursed. What? It's not on Friday, bro. We're not recording on some Friday. We're fine.
Well, 13, the number is just cursed.
If it's
That's
on
true.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
going to go into the backstory of one of the guys that we're talking about today is 13, so.
I guess we'll have to do an episode on the history of the number 13.
Special episode sometime, maybe?
Probably not. Not only is it a special thank you to everybody for the 1,000 downloads and all the support, we're also got a different recording setup today.
Yeah, so give us feedback on how this is. The three of us are in separate rooms recording our audio individually, so.
Yeah, we're finally using the mics we bought. And
Yeah,
this is,
the high-quality mics that we got, 4 or 5 episodes ago now?
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
it's probably going to be stuck this way for a while since it's extremely hot out, and we're in the process of moving apartments. So
Yeah,
this
the
is probably gonna be the
studio.
easiest way.
Yeah, that studio is way too hot, so there's no way we're going to be recording in there for at least the next couple of months.
Oh yeah, I'd say I don't know, because it'll be a month at least we won't be recording in there, because we won't have it after. Possibly not have it after.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll still have to set up a new area.
But with all the thank yous and explanations out of the way, what are we talking about today, Roger?
We're talking about the Jersey Devil versus the Thunderbird.
Yo, coming in with some hard hitters already. Let's go. This season's going to be fire.
I know. We said we weren't doing themes this season, and then we turn around and do 2 flying cryptids right away.
Well, it's better to put 2 flying cryptids versus one that's on the ground and one that can fly, because then it's kind of hard to battle.
Unlike that first episode.
Yeah,
That's eagle eyes, bro. Okay, that's not flying. These two actually can fly.
No themes for this season. Next episode will be completely different from 2 flying cryptids.
Alright, well,
2
let's get
land
into
cryptids.
it.
Hey, Roger, why don't you take us away with the highly requested Jersey Devil?
Deep within the pinelands of New Jersey, there is said to be a creature born from human flesh with the appearance of the devil. Stories of this creature reach all the way back to before the start of the Revolutionary War. These frightening stories depict a creature that is an amalgamation between a dog and a horse with wings, horns, and a tail, with an arrow shaped at the end. As terrifying as the creature is, it could have more realistic origin in history. There once was a man named Daniel Leeds who was running for a spot in the pre-American government. His views were more in favor of the British ruling the government, so there were a lot of articles and drawings made to make him seem like a devil to the common people. Some of those articles describing his acts as devilish, while others depicted him in drawings to be very similar to the Jersey Devil that we know now. Is the creature simply something created through propaganda, or could it really be a demonic beast lying in the Jersey Pinelands? Now, right off the bat, I know it's not just a dog or horse. It could also be a goat head, as depicted.
Yeah,
or
no.
a cow head.
When I was reading the article, that's just how they described it, and I thought it was also odd because it definitely has more of a goatish appearance in the face and head.
Yo, goat man with wings confirmed.
Let's go. Goatman's secret cousin.
Yo, he evolved.
Goat man inbreeding.
Oh my god.
No, but I really got into the history for this guy. Not like the cryptic history, but more the realistic history, because there was an actual guy named Daniel Leeds, and he was depicted, as it says, to be like a devil. And he is a real person because he wrote one of the first American almanacs, and as we know through history, so did Benjamin Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Benjamin Franklin was like his rival, I'm pretty sure, right?
One of his rivals, yeah.
And the confirmation for this Daniel character's existence is that I keep going to Abraham Lincoln.
Thomas Jefferson.
Benjamin Franklin.
Oh, Benjamin Franklin. There's so many people that started this country.
Yeah. But he does name Daniel Leeds. He wrote an article and mentions an actual person named Daniel Leeds, who is this person that we've been talking about. And so he really does exist. Another intriguing fact about this Daniel Leeds character is that his first wife died in childbirth.
And so did the first daughter with the second wife, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, first daughter, second wife.
So, I mean, it does really tie into the story of the Jersey Devil with some real historical facts, which I thought was
and there was a family. There was a family with the last name Leeds that also had like 12, 13 children or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah, I think there was that they had 9, but the story goes that there was one that had 12, and then Jersey Devil was the 13th.
There's
Well, the other stories of the mom being a witch and cursed the baby, and then that's what made the Jersey Devil.
Yeah.
It was, or she had a child with the devil.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, because it wasn't there was another one that maybe I just blanked when you guys were talking about it, but that some pastors or other magical quote-unquote characters cursed the mother that was having the 13th child, or the 13th childbirth was cursed by a group of people.
What I found was that she cursed it because it was the 13th child and she didn't want another one, so she cursed it, and so it came out normally, and then it soon evolved into the Jersey Devil. It grew wings, it grew a fucking goat head or horse head.
Yeah, I think it had to do with him being the 13th kid, too.
Yeah, so that ties into the whole Curse 13. I mean, there's a lot of magic and cursing done involved in the childbirth. I didn't really find anything beyond the childbirth, account-wise. It was pretty vague on the accounts. Did you guys find anything about that?
From what I can bring up, it seems like he might have just, like, lived in the... Like, he went and lived in the rest of the Pinelands, and that's why, like, he's spotted, because he's floating around in there, but...
Well, he's been spotted other places.
Yeah, but apparently he, like, after he was born, he transformed into this creature and then flew out of the house. Like, hit all of them, and then flew out of the house.
Yeah, but I want to go over some encounters really quick, because I've found some that are pretty
Please do.
Yeah, go
weird.
ahead.
So, these are all on Wikipedia, so they can or can't be true. But according to legend, while visiting in the Hanover Mill works to inspect his cannonballs being forged, Commodore Stephen Decore, or Decatur, I don't know how to say his last name, sighted a flying creature and fired a cannonball right directly upon it, and with no effect. And then there was another one that was Joseph Bonaparte, elder brother of Napoleon, is also claimed to see the Jersey Devil while hunting in his border town estate about 1820. So this guy has been around for a while. And there's a bunch
Yeah, it was
more.
late 1700s or something like that when he came upon.
Yeah. So it was kind of around the time of what the fuck is that called?
The Revolutionary War?
Well, Revolutionary War, and I think it also goes back to why can't I think of it? When the Pilgrims started doing like heavily Catholic shit.
Colonizing.
Oh, yeah, they're like pushing religion or whatever it was. I know what you're talking about.
But it's all when they were the witch trials. That's what it is.
Yeah,
it's during the witch
yeah.
trials, and so that's what this was part of. There's been more during 1840. Jersey Devil was blamed for several livestock killings, so we have another livestock killer over here. That's about it.
I will say that from what I can tell, he doesn't actually like have too many recorded human kills. Like, it's a lot more just like, oh, I saw it. Like,
Yeah.
or
So
like
it's
you said,
just-
livestock killings. So it's like, I don't know if this thing's really a hunter of man or just a creature of the wilds.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find really any attacks. A few sightings here and there. I did read that there were sightings from police officers to some government officials and then random citizens, so whether you can trust them more with their titles is up to you. But one thing I wanted to say before we hop into stats, characteristics, and abilities is the Jersey Devil looks a lot less threatening than I had pictured in my head and remember it being.
Well,
Yeah.
If you're looking at the picture of him, he's really fucking deformed.
He's also a lot smaller than what I thought.
I never got a size on him, so I can't back that up. I don't know what the size of him is.
Yeah, I couldn't find a conclusive size, but he definitely looks to be smaller than a normal man.
Yeah, from what I can tell, like, I remember for
Well, I
some
think
reason a
he's
weird
at least
image.
as big as a man. It would seem.
Yeah. I think he's, like, regular human sized, but from what I remember, like, almost a demon-looking creature, from what I can remember, and he's more just like a deformed, goat man with wings, kind of, and, like, a tail.
Yeah, no, he's definitely scary, but he doesn't have, like, that kind of Wendigo or Skinwalker kind of appearance.
Yeah,
Just
his
where they're
aura
just
is just
completely
not radiating
demonic.
that same energy.
Yeah, maybe it's because he's so deformed, or just like his head, it's just like a goat, so it's not as terrifying.
Yeah.
I mean, if you see this thing, you'd probably still be terrified with how deformed it is. But
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be like this is a sinking fear. It'd be more like, what the fuck is that thing?
Alright, with that out of the way, let's hop into some stats, abilities, and characteristics. For characteristics, all I got down was wings, goat horns, and pointed tail. Just the pretty much obvious stuff that stands out to me.
Oh, something that I forgot to bring up is that he's related to. So there's the whole son of the Leeds guy. His name is like Tom Leeds or whatever, and he was a big practitioner of like I don't know, I forget what you said, the almanac or whatever his dad did.
Hmm.
So, but his family, he really went in on all that, and his family crest is of like a wyvern creature, and so they think that the Jersey Devil might have something to do with that as well. And so some reports are that he can like, this isn't abilities, but that he can like spit either fire or like acid out of his mouth.
Due to the wyvern origin.
Yeah,
I have heard that he's kind of connected to the Wyvern Origin. So is the other competitor too.
Okay.
Oh, he's also connected to like pterodactyls. He might be a pterodactyl, but
That's interesting. I mean, when I look at it, I don't see really any pterodactyl features. But
I don't either. I just know that he was, when talking about the other competitor, like reading up on it, he was mentioned as another maybe pterodactyl figure. So
All right. So nothing to add to the characteristics.
not really.
Okay, and then do we want to put in possible fire breathing or acid spit kind of thing into the abilities?
I would say
I think
so.
we could. Yeah, I think we could add it in.
All right, cool. Put down fire/acid breath.
We just have to remember to not too heavily lean on it when we're going into the fight. Like, this is kind of a maybe thing.
Yeah. All right. And then let's hop into some stats. Let's talk intelligence. Are you thinking anything special? And also, before we go into this, let's try and keep demonic buffs to a minimum.
Yeah.
But intelligence.
I don't know. Are we thinking this thing's closer to human because he was human? Or, like, since it's so deformed, like,
Well,
it just, there's no connection or
It's
something
not like he
that.
could really form a brain for it too long, because it was when he was like 2 is when he turned into the Jersey Devil. So he still had like that kid like brain, and then he got
That's true.
deformed,
That's true.
and so it would have changed his brain either way. So I couldn't imagine that he's too fucking intelligent with anything.
If we want to take the brain thing to another level, I heard that from Origins that it was right out of childbirth he became the Jersey Devil.
That's what I heard as well.
So, I mean, his brain development's going to be very minimum for human.
I think, yeah, it's probably like animal instincts more like anything else. I'm with you on that then. I think I'd go, maybe like a 5 or something like that.
I was thinking 5.
Alright, I like 5 as well. Now with that out of the way, let's hop over to some power. I don't know, I don't think it's going to be too special. It does have...
It has hooves, which are pretty good for power, I would say.
And
It also has
do
a
we-
tail, which kind of busted a little.
spiked or arrowed tail as well, so do you think that'd be any kind of damage increase?
Not really. From what I can tell, it seems like he just hits people with his tail. He doesn't, like, stab them.
Well, it's a forked tail as well. It's not like a pointed, it's a 2 forked tail. I think it has points at the end. He also has goat horns, so that would also
Yeah.
be kind of a buff to power as well.
My
Ballparking it right now, like 7, maybe?
I'm thinking 8.
Wow, you guys are really going high. Here's my thing. One of the popular depictions of it, its limbs just don't have any kind of real muscle to them. They look to just be really lanky and sticky. Is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, he's very thin, posture-wise. Or, I mean, muscle mass-wise.
Yeah, a lot of his mass is mainly in the upper chest to surprisingly the neck is really long and thick.
It's probably because of his wings, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of want to go with the 6 for power.
Really? Even adding in, like, the horns, hoofs, tail, all that?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you took some of that away, he'd be pretty low. Just because his body structure just really doesn't seem very powerful to me.
I would move mine down to a 7, thinking about posture now. I still don't think it would be a 6. If you're taking all of the other factors in, I'd still think it would be at least a 7.
Yeah, I think I still like 7. Because it's a solid, it's not within the upper echelon. It's not an 8 yet, but he's still got some sort of power behind him.
Alright, I can go with the 7 as well. Now, here's a big one. What are we thinking for defense?
I don't think his defense is pretty high.
Neither
Yes,
do I.
I think
Maybe,
he
like-
does have a little fur, which may put the defense into a factor a little bit.
Pretty sure that's only on his legs and his head, though.
I think it's on his body too, a little bit.
Honestly, I don't think the fur is going to play too much of an effect.
I mean, it's not going to be like Bigfoot fur, but it would still play a little effect. I was thinking maybe 6 or 5.
6? Holy shit.
Okay, here's my thing. And this is going to be brought up quite a bit since we're talking about flying creatures. As we know, for things to be able to fly, species-wise, they have to have hollow bones.
Mm-hmm.
And we could debate against it, saying that he's a demonic creature, and so his magic would counteract having to have hollow bones.
Yeah, maybe his magic helps him fly or something like that.
Yeah. But I'm also...
Well, I don't think his wings alone would help him fly. Just looking at how big his body
Yeah,
is
honestly,
compared to his wings,
Yeah.
I would
Yeah,
think
you're
that
right.
the demonic power would have something to do with him flying, because there's no way he's fucking flying with those wings.
See, I could go against it without him having to have the demonic power because of how thin the limbs are, and just his body is not
Yeah.
that big in general.
Compared to his wings,
But it would
they're
still
pretty fucking big.
Yeah, it would still detract from his defense, nevertheless.
I was going to go, honestly, a 3.
Wow.
Damn, a 3?
Yeah, I don't know what this guy's bringing to the table defense-wise.
I don't want to go as low as a 3. I don't know. I'm thinking 4.
Probably could go down to a 4.
I'm alright with 4.
Alright, cool. He's just... Yeah, there's nothing bulky about him besides his neck.
Yeah,
And
I
even
just
then,
think this
it's
guy
bulky.
doesn't have...
But it's long, so it's an obvious point to attack.
Yeah, I just didn't think this guy has anything. Like, he's nothing to his name in the ways of defense.
Alright, now let's talk an interesting factor for this episode. Mobility. Now, I think going
Alright.
into it, just the ability of flight gives them a buff to mobility. Especially this guy, because he can cover ground and air pretty easily.
Yeah, I'm thinking that his mobility will probably be a lot higher, just because the ground and covering flight. I don't know, maybe an 8? Yeah, I would say an 8.
Yeah,
Yeah.
overall, in the span of the other cryptids that we've done, this guy's probably going to be pretty high up there just because of the flying thing. So, and I'm sure that our other contenders are going to have a pretty high one anyway. Yeah, 8 solid.
An 8. I just don't know how well his flying is because of the wings. I mean,
Well,
they're
they see-
nothing special.
If you go off of the sightings of him, they see him soaring through the sky, so his wings still work pretty well.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
I think this is one of those factors that you said like, oh, let's not lean too heavily into the demonic thing, but I think this is like the one factor where the demonic thing kind of carries him too. I think maybe it was just almost instinctual due to that energy.
It's part of his whole background, so I feel like the demonic factor has to be somewhat of a big role for it.
For the flying, at least.
Then yeah, I can lean into an 8. Now, with mobility being an 8, what are we thinking for HP?
Not very high. I'm thinking like a 4.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I would say 5, just because I think average human is like 5, so...
Yeah, I'm right there with you guys as well. I think 4 is... It's fair for him. It's same thing with the defense. I mean, he's just got nothing special. And the problem with him is a lot of his vitals are going to be right in the chest and neck. And with having a small body like that, it's just going to be an easy kill. You don't really have anywhere for cover or any non-weak vital points. So we're rolling with HP 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I can be persuaded down to 4.
Alright, then let's cover the last stat, stealth.
This one's weird because the sightings are so far apart that you can almost say that he just doesn't get seen. But I don't know if we want to lean into that as our main contender for the whole stealth thing, or what.
I would say his stealth is a little higher, just because of that. I mean, if you again, going to the sightings, they're pretty far apart in years. What do we got? 1820. I don't know when the cannonball one was. Then there's 1840, 1925, 1937. So they're pretty far apart altogether.
Yeah, this is large spans of years where he just isn't seen at all.
I'll give him that. I don't think he's going to be extremely high, because when we did the Chupacabra and we gave him a 10, the big thing for him was that it was just the aftermath of his attacks that we're seeing and not him as a whole. As to where this guy is getting spotted as a whole, enough to where they can form such a good description of the cryptid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's Chupacabra level. I'm still thinking maybe a 7.
What are you thinking, Andrew?
I don't know, I'm really debating here because it almost seems like, due to his origin, and like everyone knows, I don't know, I almost want to give him like a 6 or something like that. I kind of want to go a little bit lower.
Yeah, I'm on the little bit lower train. I do like the fact that he's only seen, like, there's a good span of time before he's seen, but he's been seen enough times and well enough to form a very good description. But there's also the fact that maybe the description and stuff was all detailed from the family and then passed along. I don't know. I think I'm comfortable with more of a 6.
Well, how about it, Roger? 6?
Yeah, I can be persuaded down to a 6.
Alright, cool. Then we'll hit him with a 6. And so, to round about the stats real quick, we have Intelligence 5, Power 7, Defense 4, Mobility 8, HP 4, and Stealth 6. So, that brings us to our next contender, the Thunderbird. Me or you, Andrew?
Alright. I'm doing it.
Alright.
Alright. Deep within the wilds of Pennsylvania, there have been many reported sightings of a bird that was larger than a house. This creature, known as the Thunderbird, has been seen for over 200 years and is first to appear in Native American legends. This creature is said to bring with it thunderstorms, hence the name. Like said previously, there have been many reported sightings throughout history, from the early 1800s to as recent as 2012. One of the most popular stories is of a group of hunters who killed the Thunderbird and nailed it to a barn. They then proceeded to take a photo of them and the creature. Unfortunately, this photo has been lost to time, some believing it to have burned in a house fire. Is this larger-than-life bird a true god of thunder, or is it simply a tale from a Native American lore that is nothing more than the tale itself?
Yeah, the Thunderbird. One of my favorites, just because I remember there used to be this show, I think it was on the History Channel or Discovery Channel, where these two teenagers would go around and talk about, or like investigate alien sightings and cryptid sightings and stuff. I don't remember what it's called, but this was one of the first episodes and it always stuck with me. And specifically, there's a story of a Thunderbird picking up a child between the age of 9 and 10 and attempting to fly off with it before the mother came out and saved the child from the bird itself.
Yeah, that was one of the most notorious stories.
There's also an alleged video of the Thunderbird as well.
Is that the one where the people are in the car?
I don't think it's in the car, because it seems to be just like they're sitting in the tree and then one flies off, and it's a pretty fucking huge bird. So that's why it would be thought of to be a Thunderbird.
Yeah, from what I don't know where I remember this from, but when I was a lot younger, and I think I had heard about the Thunderbird from Matt, and then I see this video of this couple in a car, and their huge shadow goes over like this line of cars on the freeway, and that was like one of the supposed sightings.
I think they have a picture of that, like one of the fucking website I was looking at had that was like the main picture for it from that video.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now, another interesting fact that I didn't know about the Thunderbird was that they tend to travel in, I don't know what you would call it for birds, but like packs of Thunderbirds.
Flock?
A flock, yeah. And there's like a couple stories or sightings of seeing like 4 to 6 Thunderbirds flying together, which is fucking insane when you think about it, because the Thunderbird has a reported wingspan of 16 feet.
Yeah, that's
So
insane.
you see like 5, 6, 4 of those guys flying in the air, and it's just wild how big a flock of those would be flying together.
I think it's crazy how, like, in like some of the original myths, they're like an upper world creature, and they fend off underworld serpents and all that. That's insane to me. And they can, I mean, this will probably go into abilities, but reportedly they can at least control lightning. Some say they like shoot lightning, but
Yeah, no, that ties back into the Native American stories of the Thunderbird being like a warning for thunder or rainstorms coming.
mhm.
And then, I want to touch more on that once we get to the end of the episode. But that's one of the big draws of
Yeah.
the Thunderbird.
So it's on that video is on Cryptid Wikipedia, and if you go down on the Thunderbird's page a little bit, you can see it. I mean, it doesn't look as big, but it can also just be that the video is being taken from far away.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I actually want to see if I can find this video real quick. And of course, the first Wikipedia for the Thunderbird is the Ford Thunderbird.
If you look up,
Yeah, I looked up Thunderbird creature, but
I looked up Thunderbird Cryptid, and that's what popped up first was this.
yeah. So, but this was also mistaken for, this could have been like, a pteranodon or some flying reptile or something like that.
It was also connected to a pterodactyl, much like Jersey Devil was.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and then a lot of people, it's just an eagle or a raptor, like, flying bird,
It looks a lot like a vulture from the pictures they show, is what it seems.
Yeah, yeah. Which is weird because usually those are like scavenger birds, but these are definitely like predatory.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. They have like a lot of that eagle kind of feel to them. I just watched the video. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll talk more about believability, and I want to talk about this video now, but we'll save that for the end. But that's definitely interesting.
So for description of it, it is said to have no feathers on it and has a head similar to an alligator.
Okay, that's got to be one because I know that some of them they're literally just large birds. So
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, that's-
And I think this is connected to the two Arizona cowboys that claimed they shot and killed one. A large bird.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that's weird. Because I've heard I've heard that it looks like just a normal eagle. I've heard that it looks like, I'm blanking on the other one,
vulture.
the vulture. But I've never heard the alligator head.
Yeah, that was definitely the Arizona.
Yeah. It was from
Oh, and then some people saying it could be a dragon. It could be other flying cryptids, is what they say. Could even be the Jersey Devil.
Jersey Devil versus
Yeah.
Jersey Devil.
Whoa, Jersey Devilception.
One that it's a fucking infight with the family. Or is the Thunderbird just the Jersey Devil's in-laws, and that's why they don't like each other?
It's just the Jersey Devil's mom.
Yeah, he came from the 13th egg, and the Wendigo cursed it.
Wow, we're getting some Thunderbird lore here. Let's go.
Well, I mean, this is obviously lore for our Cryptid fighting game that's coming out eventually.
Oh,
Yeah, it'll be some sort of 1v1 2.5D style.
Yeah. You know what it's gonna be called. Like, come on.
I mean, come on, the name's literally in the name.
Yeah, well, for the viewers who obviously don't know, you should say it. I mean, we all totally know it, but for the viewers, of course.
Well, it would be Cryptid versus Cryptid. Come on.
Exactly.
Bye.
I just,
Yeah.
just wanted
It would
to.
actually, so you can get the whole description. It'd be Cryptid versus Cryptid, the video game, by Cryptid versus Cryptid.
A Cryptid versus Cryptid
Made by
project.
CBT Studios.
Produced
Exactly.
by CBT Studios.
All right.
Well, with that out of the way, let's hop over to stats, abilities, and characteristics. Now, the only real characteristic that I had down for the Thunderbird is the 16-foot wingspan. I did read in other places that they have a 9-foot wingspan, which, if I'm being honest, that's nothing. I mean, it's impressive, it's large, but there's a few different species of bird with a wingspan that size.
I've seen a picture of it comparing it to a human. I would say it's probably the 16-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
We could also,
It's,
shorten it a little bit because 16 foot seems a little out there, but it could be like 12 foot or something like that. But
I don't know.
it's definitely the largest bird ever.
I think the 16-foot wingspan is fair.
That's true.
I
It's
mean,
not
it's
much
reported to be
taller than a human being. It's a lot
No.
wider than it.
No, yeah, size-wise, I mean, it's about human size, but the wingspan is really what takes it out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's standing up is like 4 feet, I think. It actually might be like closer to 5.
Now, do we want to take the alligator head into consideration here, or are we just going to stick with a pure normal bird head?
I think it's probably better if we just go normal bird head, just because that's one account. So.
Well, that's
Alright.
by the cowboys that killed it, and that was like a big factor for it too.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I know.
Well, I guess I'm the deciding vote. Let's just stick with the normal head for now, and then maybe we can discuss it in the fight, the effect that it would have. So, let's talk abilities, and this guy has a very interesting ability, which
This is where this
before
guy's
we
power
put it
comes
down, yeah, let's discuss it specifically before I throw it down as an official ability. Now, are we going to go with that it creates thunderstorms, or are we going to go with that it is just a warning of a coming storm?
From most of the Native American reports, it has the ability to at least control the weather somewhat. So I want to give this guy the ability to, strike lightning, or at least, make it rain.
I would say the ability to make it a thunderstorm at least would be in consideration, since we did give Wendigo the whole snowy and icy effect for it too. That's how I kind of see it. I don't think it would be able to direct the lightning towards anyone or control like that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's like conducting it or anything.
Storm and
Yeah, no, I like giving him the ability to generate thunderstorms. I think that's a fair ability for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's in his name, so we at least have to do something like that.
Alright, so I'll throw down thunderstorm generation.
Yeah.
And are there any other abilities we want to throw his way? I know you had mentioned, Andrew, that some stories say he can shoot lightning or thunder.
No, like I said, that was only like 1 or 2 reports, and that's kind of an offshoot from the bringing of thunderstorms thing. So I think giving him the ability to like launch lightning, it seems a little far-fetched. But
Alright, cool. Then we'll just stick with generates thunderstorms. And while we're talking about it, I kind of like the image of him just like flapping his wings, and that creates like the thunderstorms behind him.
that causes like the winds to pick up and start circling around and all that stuff. I like that.
Yeah. Not that it's like an official ability, but in my head canon,
Yeah,
that
it seems
like
Part
kinda
of the
something
video
that
game we're
happened.
creating,
Yeah.
Alright, now let's hop into the big ones. The stats. What are we thinking for intelligence?
It's tough for intelligence because it's. Do we want to go with the Native American? Like this is kind of almost like a messenger of the gods type thing. So would it have like a higher intelligence, like an 8 or something, or would we go with like, okay, this is just a large avian, so it's like, I don't know, a 6 or I don't think I go 5, but
I'm definitely between a 6,
I'm
7, or
thinking
an 8.
6.
Because, I mean, if we take into well, I don't know. I'm kind of on the 6 boat now, solidly.
I'm thinking 6 is a good one, just because it's not like a human deforming into something. It's just kind of like an animal instinct. I think animal instinct usually is around 6 anyways.
yeah, it's just whether or not we want to give them that like, oh, this is kind of an almost deity type thing or not.
You know, I like the 6 just for pure animal's sake. I almost want to give it a 7,
I
just
started
because
thinking 7.
it's almost like this semi-godlike figure. I don't know, I think I like a 7 now.
I think I'm solidly on the 7 train.
I can be persuaded to a 7.
Alright then, intelligence of 7. Now what are we thinking for power?
I'm thinking power is going to be a little higher.
The thing collapse. Okay. First question, is this in the large class because of that wingspan or no? Size of a house reported in the story, and we did say that the next size up is house size.
I mean, when we put it in a picture, it's just about or slightly less than double the size of our bedroom. I don't know. It's tough because its body, like height wise, it's just this, like, it'd be normal scale. But length wise, it would seemingly break into the next category.
I would say you put it in the large class.
I kind of want to put it in large class.
Just because of how big that wingspan is. I mean, 16 feet, that's like almost more than 2 Bigfoots right there.
I like putting into the large class. I just don't know if it's power.
It's power.
Scales with that?
Its power can scale to that, let me tell you. I have some evidence right here.
Then hit
I
me with
think
the
it can
evidence
too.
because I'm
Okay.
going to need some persuasion.
So, the Thunderbird is known to kill whales and pick it up and take it to its nest, reportedly.
Okay, that's one of the reports that kind of persuades me into the large class too. Because that is something I also read about it hunts whales instead of like small fish.
No, consider me persuaded.
Easy dub, boys. Let's go, Andrew.
Let's go. Alright, large class, what are we putting this thing at? Like an 8 or something?
I'm thinking 8.
I don't know. I kind of like large class, maybe a 7. But
Okay.
I don't know. I'm stuck in the middle. I just don't feel like it would be 8 power, but then you take into the fact that the flap of the wings would have some pretty high strength behind them.
Yeah. Let's also give it the fact that its flapping wings generate a thunderstorm, whether it be magically or through sheer force, you know.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
also
comfortable
being
with.
able to carry an entire whale while flapping those wings to its nest.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm comfortable with giving it an 8.
I'm kind of scared now, because
Yeah.
going into this, it was like, ooh, these two are similar. Not
After
anymore.
I read the killing whales, I was like, uh-oh, this is going to be a fun one.
I didn't even know about the whale thing, so even thinking about it, I was still like, still a fair fight. And then you hit us with the whale. Okay, well, with power and our questioning of abilities to match cryptids up, let's talk about 7. Let's talk about defense.
Defense, I'm thinking, is pretty low.
Yeah,
I mean, it
this
got
thing's been
killed.
shot down by a couple of cowboys, so I don't know if this thing's defensively on par.
With its godlike appearance.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, people have hunted it before that too, so
Yeah, no, I don't think it's with the cowboy story, the 2 cowboys, and I don't know if we have the same story with the cowboys and then talking about the people who strung it up at the barn.
I think
If
those
we
are
take
two
them-
separate occurrences.
The cowboys dragged it to the town. But
Okay,
there's
so
no
yeah.
alleged photo of it because it was lost.
Okay, then yeah, we'll take it as 2 separate stories, which in my story, it was a group of farmers that just shot it down as well. So, its defense, I'll agree, wouldn't be much to write home about.
Are we doing another 4?
I was thinking of 4.
Yeah, I like 4. I think that's a good low number for it, just because defense-wise, I mean, even the feathers aren't going to contribute much to the defense, I don't think.
No, I wouldn't think so.
So, with defense out of the way, let's talk mobility. I think this is going to be a pretty fast motherfucker.
We also have to put size into comparison. It's fast because it's a bird that can fly, but it's also probably kind of slow because it's such a huge bird.
Yeah,
I mean, it is huge, but the force behind the wings that's generating has to be insane to propel it. I think it's
I
still
know.
going to be pretty high even with the size. And
I
if
think
we
it's-
take in hollow wings, it's not going to weigh much.
Hollow bones.
Hollow
I think
bones.
overall it's probably still going to weigh a bit, but
I'd still think it'll weigh a bit, not as much as it would with regular sized bones, but it's still going to weigh a shit ton.
I'm just thinking like turn radius and all that. I think this thing's a fast comparatively over long distances type of thing
Yeah, I think
instead
this
of
thing
like
is,
in a small area.
I think this thing is faster going like straight or like going down or maybe up, but like turning and shit, it's going to be a little slow for that. Just like maneuverability is going to be a big factor for it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. How do you guys feel about a 7?
I don't know, Roger. What are you thinking?
I was waiting for yours.
I was too. I'm stuck right now. The 7 was a good idea, but I'm stuck between 6 and 7 right now.
I was thinking of 6. but I was like,
I mean,
maybe 7.
the really only detractor for mobility would be the turning. Everything else it's going to be extremely fast with.
Well, turning and maneuverability, like being able to dodge shit and stuff. And so that plays a big part into mobility.
Yeah, but I still don't think it'd be low enough. If we were talking 8, if I said 8, and then we brought up mobility, I'd be down to drop it to a 7, but I don't think I'd be willing to drop it down to a 6 just because of mobility. I think that'd be too low, and it'd be really discounting the fact of how fast it is in all other departments.
Your thoughts, Andrew?
I don't know. I still like the 6. Just thinking about it, I think as large it is compared to our competitor here, compared to the rest of our competitors in the past, I think that I like 6. I even think environment would really slow it down too. So,
Well, this
I know
thing
these
isn't
are
going
outside
to be
factors.
landing anytime soon. It'd stick to the air.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, in my head, a 6 just seems a little bit more fitting. I don't know. I don't have a solid.
I would have to
Like
agree
a s-
with the 6 being more fitting too. I just don't think it would be fast enough for a 7.
I'm not willing to move to a 6. I mean, I get where you guys are coming from, but its sheer speed is not something to be discounted. And I get that the turn radius and stuff would be lower, but still, I think its sheer speed would outweigh, because if it's trying to escape, it doesn't need to do any kind of difficult turns or anything. It would just simply outspeed its opponent. And then once it's far enough away, it could do the turns. I think you guys are just weighing a little too heavy on the turning and dodging aspect.
Well, that's because mobility plays a big factor into that.
Yeah, and so does sheer speed. I think it's just a
Yeah.
little too close. 6 is a little too close to middle of the road.
I think I'll settle on a 7 for now, but I'm definitely bringing this back up in the recap.
I'll have to bring it back too. I can see.
I'm gonna do a little bit more bird research in the time.
You know what? No, I'm going to drop it down to a 6.
Really?
Mainly because I went back on my phone and looked at some of our other ones, and specifically the Ningen, who maybe wasn't the best one to judge off of, but he did only have a 5, and he's, a large creature in his natural environment. This is definitely something I will end up bringing back up when we do the recap in a few months. No, I take it back. I'm still on a 7, because we gave Nessie an 8, and they're very similar in this department, I would say.
Like I said, I'll stick with a 7 for now, but we're definitely coming back to this.
Yeah. The thing with Nessie and Ningen is like, I would feel like a thunderbird in this habitat because it's so fucking big in the ocean. Whereas the thunderbird is probably the biggest flying thing in there because you don't see
I don't know
birds
about that.
big.
Well, yeah, naturally.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason there's not creatures that big too. That as size goes up, your mass, like cubes or it like triples or something like that. As your size doubles, your mass triples or something. So
I know,
Here, I'll put down 7 quotations, recap,
All right,
and then
that's
in a
good.
few months we'll come back to this.
all right,
And if you listeners want to weigh in on this debate, send us an email stating your
Please.
opinions
Please
on the
send us an
mobility
email.
of the Thunderbird, because I didn't expect it to be such a hot topic.
I want to hear some conversation about this. I want someone to hit me with the straight facts.
Yeah, whether you're with us or against us, some solid of the road opinion would be nice on mobility. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk HP.
Again,
This is a hard one for me. I don't think it's going to be too high. I just don't know how low we want to go for it.
I mean,
I
going
like-
back to getting killed by the cowboys and the farmers. It's not gonna be very high, I feel.
No.
So I was thinking maybe a 5 or a 4.
5 is what I was going for.
I mean, I was right there on the 4, but I do think the 5 is fair enough.
I like 5. I think 5's good because you are, then again, using bullets. It's not like that someone just took a sling and got this thing to go down. Like, you got to put a little force behind it.
That's true.
Yeah.
They're probably using at least like repeaters or maybe a standard rifle.
Yeah, at least a metal ball is hitting this thing.
Yeah.
For something like this, it's one of those times when I wish there were more details on these stories of them killing the cryptid. That would really help. Just more specifics, like how many times did they shoot at it, kind of stuff.
We might have to go back to the Jersey Devil in a little bit.
Yeah, no.
All right.
We still have time to make some last second changes. So are we thinking a 5 for HP? Good middle of the road?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Let's hit up our last one, Stealth. Which I don't think is going to be very high.
No, it's a giant fucking bird. And there's been
Also, it creates storms. They're like, oh, we see this thing coming, and oh, there's a storm there.
That could always tie into its stealth, because you're not looking for a giant bird in the middle of a fucking thunderstorm. You're trying to go hide from the thunderstorm.
But it's a bringer of storms. It's not like it's a thing that just like floats in the middle, like staying away from. It's like, hey, bitches, here's a fucking storm. Like, I'm giving it a 2 stealth.
Oh my god! I was
Wow.
3 or 4, dude.
This is also the biggest avian creature that we've seen. I think that this thing is like a 2.
I'll give it this. One of my detracting factors for stealth was it doesn't really seem to stalk its prey or try to stay hidden while it hunts. It kind of just goes in for what it can see.
That's true.
I don't know if I want to go as low as a 2, though.
I was thinking a 3 or 4. That's what I'm sticking with. Maybe.
I'll go up to a 3, but that's the highest I'm going.
Yeah.
This thing also has to be super loud. Like the wing flaps on this thing are, oh my god.
Yeah,
Made
that's
some
true.
good points.
It would have to be like a helicopter fucking going.
Yeah,
off.
yeah. Especially if
there's,
if they travel in packs. Like, listen to me, dude. 2 is not crazy. 2 is not crazy.
What are you thinking, Roger?
I'm thinking still 3.
Still
He
a
moved
3?
me down. He moved me down from a 4. I'm thinking it's 3. It's not a 2, but the whole wing flap kind of got me. I was like, yeah, I can think a 3 would be pretty good for
Yeah,
it.
no. I'm with you on the 3.
Yeah, I'll do 3.
I like the 3. Alright, cool. Well, let's do our full recap for the cryptids. So, we'll go Thunderbird first. 16 feet wingspan characteristic. Thunderstorm generating ability. Stats, Intelligence 7, Power 8, Defense 4, Mobility 7, which is up to change, HP 5, Stealth 3. Then we hop over to the Jersey Devil. Characteristics, wings, goat horns, pointed tail. Abilities, fire/acid breath, possibly, which I think we'll roll with going into this.
We definitely are going to roll with that.
Yeah. Intelligence 5, Power 7, Defense 4, Mobility 8, HP 4, Stealth 6. Now, Roger, was there something you wanted to bring up about these stats?
Okay, now deciding about the cannonball. They fired directly on it, and there was no effect. I'm just trying to bring this up, because I want to hear you guys' thoughts on it.
Bringing that back up, I do remember in the stories about it, it seems like no one can actually hit this thing. Like, there's a couple other, someone, I swear there was someone that, at least swung at it or shot at it too, and nothing happened.
Yeah.
And they're like, was it unaffected?
Now, I don't know if that's it getting hit and it kind of just does some magic for it, or if it's like some other effect like, luck chant, or like a miss luck kind of thing.
Roll a 20 for his luck stat.
Well, yeah, or more of they roll a 20 and they always get a 1 kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or they roll a 20 and get a minus 19 and get a 1.
Yeah, I mean, that... I didn't want to bring it up, but it's kind of like an ethereal ability.
That's true.
Yeah, that's tough, because it could play into mobility, maybe it's a last-second dodge, maybe it plays into defense, where its defense is so high that it just looks like it doesn't have any effect.
The thing is that they've clearly saw that they hit it. So it's not like a last-minute dodge or anything. If anything, it's like, Ultra Instinct, I just dodged it and without a blink of an eye, but I don't think that would be the case, because they saw it hit it.
It sounds like an ethereal ability.
Yeah, no, so here it is. The police in Camden and Bristol, Pennsylvania supposedly fired on the creature and it had no effect. Not that they didn't hit it, that there was literally no effect from them shooting at it.
I don't know, that's tough to judge.
We don't have to touch on it right now. We can wait for the recap, but I just thought I would bring that up as an interesting thing right there.
No, it was, because I did think about the cannon thing when we were discussing Thunderbird stats. Yeah, I don't really know how to factor that in, because it's almost like just an ethereal ability.
You know, the more that we hear about this Jersey Devil, the more I think that maybe it is like this. We might want to just throw in the demonic stuff. Like, it seems like it's kind of tied to.
That's what I'm thinking, because it seems like it's working out in it for it.
Yeah, like the more we discuss it and stuff like that, the more it seems like these demonic and otherworldly powers are definitely at play here.
Yeah, they're definitely a big factor. And, you know, we try not to go in with it, but in this case, it's so tied closely to it, we almost have no choice.
Yeah, I mean, hell, it's in its name, you know?
Yeah. How do we want to factor in these demonic abilities, then?
I don't know
is the
how we're
big
going to
question.
factor this whole it not getting affected by anything if we really want to go with ethereal. Other than that, I don't think we really want to go in for protection of it, but there's just so much shit to go in for demonic factor.
I think overall its stats are fine. I just think that there's definitely
An ability at least.
there's more to it, you know?
Yeah.
It's just difficult because he's never, like, actually gone out and used it for anything other than, you know, not being affected by stuff.
Then do we want to factor the ethereal into abilities?
I say hold off for now, but there's something I'm going to bring up in the fight later on that'll have to do with it.
Alright. Well then, with that out of the way, let's talk environment. Obviously, a big factor in this is going to be an open sky, which there isn't much to discuss about. It's more of the ground factor we should consider here.
Where's Thunderbird's location? I swore I saw his.
Pretty sure Thunderbird's in
Pennsylvania.
No,
Pennsylvania.
Was it Jersey Devil? Oh no,
Jersey
New
Devil.
Jersey.
Jersey
I'm
Devils
an
in
idiot.
Jersey.
Well, it's been seen in Pennsylvania and stuff. No, when I looked up Thunderbird, it was like, oh, this to this. I think it was Alaska to Central America. Yeah, country, Alaska to Central America.
Maybe we do. Maybe we do like a loose forest or something like that. Like I don't know. What's a good like? You know what I'm talking about? Like this, not super dense trees or anything like that. Like there's a few trees out here.
I mean, either way, it's probably going to be mostly in the sky anyways.
I don't know, I feel like they would be in kind of a dense forest, because a lot of the places they described are heavily, like, big pine forests.
That's true. And you got to think about like where large bird staying is probably going to be somewhere near wildlife. Okay, maybe it is a dense forest because I know that the Jersey Devil stays in the forest, that the pine woods or whatever it is.
Yeah, the
I think it's
Pine
Pinelands.
Barrens.
Or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
should just do it there, since it only really stays there.
Yeah, maybe the Thunderbird's kind of encroaching on its territory or something like
'Cause it
that,
sounds
migrating
like,
or
okay,
whatever.
If you think about it, the Thunderbird seems to travel a lot anyways, just because it goes, kills whales, and then brings it to its nest.
And a lot of what
it's
I've
going
heard
if it's from the dense forest, there's no way it's going to be close to an ocean. They're going to have to travel across fucking this
That's not true.
country.
I mean, there could be dense forest. There's a bunch of dense forests that are right next to the ocean. Hell, you move upstate to Oregon, and then that's pretty much just dense forest right up until the ocean.
Yeah, but it's in Pennsylvania, right? That's where it said it was seen.
Well,
Yeah.
this fight would be in New Jersey, which would just be a coastal. I'm pretty sure New Jersey's a lot more rural. I don't know. I think dense forest is fine. Dense forest, we could even put it near the ocean if you want. I don't think that is going to make much of a difference, but
I mean, I like a dense pine forest.
Yeah, I'm not
myself.
saying for the location. I'm just saying of how Thunderbird's coming.
How they
It sounds
encounter
like he'd
them?
be. Yeah, I think Thunderbird would just be flying towards, like, trying to go get a fucking prey, and then Jersey Devil sees him, or something. He sees Jersey Devil or something.
they also migrate like every year, is what I heard from a lot of the Native American stuff. So that he could just be, you know, like moving either down south or up north, whatever, then flies into the wrong part of the forest, pal.
Yeah. So we're settled on a pine forest.
Yeah, pine
Yeah.
forest, open air. I don't know, you know, as big as like what, like 5-6 football fields worth, just in a complete circle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And then before we get into the main event of this episode, today's episode is brought to you in part by our Patreon.
Our Patreon.
Andrew, what can you find on our Patreon?
Well, first off, we've got the after hours, which we do after every episode. From, what was like the sixth or seventh episode we did? We started doing after hours. So we've started racking up a lot of content, and that's like an extra hour to an hour and a half content per episode. We've got all those on there so far, I think. We've also got like the D&D stuff that we did. We've also got the special episode, the holiday episode that we recorded. We've got the Discord link. I mean, is there anything else? I think there's...
Yeah, no, I mean, as for content right now, that's about what we got up. You got, like Andrew said, your after hours. You have Cryptids versus Caverns, which is our D&D that we do over there. A new episode will hopefully be coming up this month. And then, yeah, we have our one special episode.
And then we also have a compilation that we're probably going to put in. I don't know if we've got it yet, or if we're still waiting on that, of a bunch of like bloopers and stuff like that.
So, yeah, if you're looking for a good extra about 6 to 7 hours of content, come over to our Patreon. $3
Plus,
a month.
because we're going to be adding to it every month. So yeah, $3. That's it. We got one tier, $3, easy.
You get all this content too.
I mean, yeah, a growing library.
Bare minimum, you're getting another extra 2 to 2.5 hours of content every month for $3. And that's bare minimum. And with our new setup, we'll possibly be doing some new series over on Patreon.
Yeah, it is a lot easier to do some new content this way. So we'll see. Just sign up for a Patreon. $3.
$3. And with that out of the way, that concludes our ad reel. Let's hop into today's main event.
We got Jersey Devil, and we have the Thunderbird.
How do you think this fight starts? Who do you think's going in first?
I think you guys already started talking about the beginning of the fight.
Well, I
a little
just
bit.
a counter. I think Thunderbird's going in first, though. I think he would see Jersey Devil and go in.
You think so? You think he marks him as a threat?
Yes, or just another prey that would be, oh, that looks fine, and then go for
it. All right.
So you think, and we should also say we are factoring in the fire and acid breath just to give Jersey Devil a better chance. Do you think the Thunderbird's bringing a thunderstorm with him when he's flying by?
I don't think so. I don't think this thing's just casually moving with a thunderstorm on its tail, but I think that as soon as a threat is detected, thunderstorm's coming out. Now, we'll have something to say about that in a sec.
So, what I'm thinking here is that if we're going with the wing flap creates it, I feel like the stronger he does the wing flaps, like to get away, and the more he does that, is when the thunderstorm would be. So it'd be like mid-fight or something, or like the climax of the fight.
Yeah, when their clash starts, the thunderstorm starts brewing in the background.
Yeah.
Alright, so who's going for the first fight? Or the first attack, sorry.
Thunderbird. I think Thunderbird for sure. I think it's probably like a swooping dive attack. It's probably going in with the talons. And it's...
I mean, that's gotta do some good damage.
I know, but it depends on whether or not the Jersey Devil notices or not. I think that if he notices, I think he has enough time to get out of the way.
I feel like he would see a big-ass shadow coming down, and he'd be able to, like, look up and then get out of the way before this thing goes down.
I also think he would notice. I mean, this thing's creating a lot of noise.
And overall mobility, even with the Thunderbird's 7 that we're on the fence about, Jersey Devil has an 8, so he still beats him out in speed. So if he's hears this giant thing coming at him, turns, looks, sees it's diving straight for him, flies away.
Yeah, I think he'd definitely be able to avoid the first attack.
Now, for Jersey Devil, it does seem like he's more passive anyways, so I don't think he'd be attacking for a while. I think he'd be dodging more throughout the fight, just because he doesn't seem like the attacking type.
That's true, but he also kills wildlife, so I think that as soon as he sees it's like a bird creature, I think that he's like, okay, this thing's not as intelligent, I might be able to take this thing down.
Well, it also has an intelligence of 5, so I think in its head it goes, dirt. Animal.
Okay, that's intelligence 2. Intelligence 5 is still like, okay, this is kind of a threat. It's coming after me. I got to do something about it at least.
Animal instincts.
Well,
so here's
slash like kind of human instincts for this guy.
Yeah. So, do you think the Jersey Devil would be thrown off its footing and mobility by the force that the Thunderbird is creating through its flying?
I think it's kind of unsettled. Yeah.
Thinking about it, I think it would be kind of affected by it. Just because if you're thinking like how loud a fucking helicopter is with this thing, its wing flaps, it would also have the force behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The air
I'd
is
say
definitely,
it could more easily direct the force of the that comes from the flapping of the wings.
I think the longer this fight drags on too, the worse it's going to get for Jersey Devil because the wind is going to start picking up with this thunderstorm.
And then the weather effects come in as well.
I do want to say, as a counter to the weather effects, I think that's when we can pull out the not being affected by like gunshots and stuff like that, and like the cannonball. I think maybe even if this thing is like getting hit with water and like lightning or something like that, I think that it probably is unaffected by anything like that.
So it passively
Just
It almost passively negates the weather status.
okay.
I would say that's
Now-
probably good for that.
Here's another thing. If it does try and do the fire breath, do you think the weathering would dwindle down the effects of the fire?
I do, but if it does the acid breath, then that's just going to help it out a little bit. So
Yeah. I
Alright.
think
I'm also thinking, just for like a picture here, when they start clashing, the thunderstorm starts to pick up. Instead of being like a blue, blackish kind of thing, it's like a blackish red. Because Jersey Devil's there, and it's like a demonic fight, kind of.
the sky starts to turn a little red. He does have red eyes, from what, all the reports I hear. So
Well, he's also demonic, so you think it would be kind of affected by
Yeah.
that. So if he's pulling his demonic power out, it would, affect the area. I'm just
That's
saying
true,
for
that's
like
true.
thinking about
It's for
how
aesthetic-
thinking
aesthetic
about this
facts and
epic
stuff.
fights going on.
yeah, I can see like he goes up for a rising strike or something like that, hits the bird, lightning flashes behind him in the red sky. It looks pretty sick.
does look pretty dope in my head. Here's another thing I wanted to bring up in the Jersey Devil's advantage. He would be able to hide into the trees in the forest, and it would make it a lot harder for the Thunderbird to come down and get him.
That's true.
That's true. He has a stealth of 6. We did say he's hidden in this forest for a while too. He probably knows it pretty well, or at least a forest like it pretty well.
Well, it's also that the fucking Thunderbird's so big, and the trees are pretty compact in the forest, so I don't think the Thunderbird would have the maneuverability for that.
Exactly.
And so
And that
would
just
count-
gives the Jersey Devil more time to plan out an attack.
All right. Maybe not as one-sided as I initially thought.
Yeah, no, this is more of like a Goatman versus Chupacabra to me. That you would think it
Yeah.
would be so unfair looking at stats-wise, but once you get into the actual fight itself, it's looking pretty good.
It's looking pretty even. Yeah. Do you guys have like a definitive winner in your head, or because I'm still playing this out right now?
I'm trying to come up with thoughts for each of them to win. My thing is, when the Jersey Devil does go into attack, it's gonna have to be flying pretty fast and strong to break through the force that the Thunderbird is creating.
With the intelligence, I would think maybe, and with how passive it is, I think the Jersey Devil would hide, and then Thunderbird would maybe come down for it, since it's already set on it, and that would be Jersey Devil's way of being like, oh, here's my time to attack. And that would be its chance to attack there.
I think the Jersey Devils definitely got like the power mobility, maybe not directly like contrasted with the power of the Thunderbird, but like its own power itself. I think it's got the ability to take down the Thunderbird after a little while. But I think the Thunderbird's also a little bit smarter, and it knows it can wait out its prey, and it knows that it can't hide in that forest forever, So,
Yeah. The Thunderbird would almost know, too, that it has to come to it if it wants to hurt it.
that's true.
As to where the Thunderbird can just wait out in the air for as long as it needs to, the Jersey Devil's going to have to go to it to attack, no matter
It has
what.
the sheer power advantage here, so it knows that if it waits long enough, then it might be able to just crush it. I mean, hell, we don't even know if the Thunderbird has the ability to just take out the trees, Maybe it starts letting loose some of its, full force on some parts of the forest and cutting it down a little,
Yeah,
Something
it
I
knocks
can-
down a few trees, especially after they're weathered for a bit.
Something I can
Yeah.
see for the Jersey Devils side is that if it gets acid on the wings of one of the Thunderbird like wings, then
then it's fucked.
Then it
It's
goes
game
down,
over.
and that's what would cause the Thunderbird to fucking lose right then and there. Just because then it's kind of a sitting duck at that point.
I think you've brought up an interesting situation there.
Because at that point, it flies down, fucking smashes on the ground, so its HP is already low. We've already discussed that. Its defense and its HP is fucking low. And that's going to be a good thing for the Jersey Devil to win here.
Yeah. I think that even though this is an aerial fight more than anything else, I think that Jersey Devil has the advantage on the ground because he's still got that like humanoid figure. So even if the Thunderbird somehow clipped its wings, that's not affecting it as much as if the Thunderbird's wing is at all tarnished, you know?
I think the Thunderbird has two ways of winning here.
Well, it's the same. The thing is, it's also the same with the Jersey Devil. We can bring up your points too.
Yeah, let me get these two wins out of the way for Thunderbird real quick. I think its two biggest odds of winning is just an instant kill from its first attack or one good attack, or it just injures it enough to where it's going to die eventually, and the Thunderbird just waits it out until it's weak enough to the point where the Thunderbird can land and then take it out itself. Those are the two big wins I think the Thunderbird has going for it.
Yeah, mine starts with the first of the fight too, before all the rain comes in. If it does have the fire breathing, is that it comes down and then Jersey Devil kind of just instinctively hits it with the fire breath and it starts burning. That would cause the Thunderbird's wings to be severely damaged and it couldn't fly away. And since it's in such a dense forest part, it wouldn't really be able to get enough time to fly out.
I think the biggest thing for the Jersey Devil to win this would be eliminating the flight of the Thunderbird.
Exactly.
Because I don't see the Jersey Devil winning an aerial battle against the Thunderbird.
Oh no, I don't see that at all. The only way
I think
is
it's
that
funny.
it takes it out of the aerial battle, like I said, with the acid breath somehow. Like it gets above it before it can turn or something. And then it shoots the acid breath and it brings down the Thunderbird with it. And the Thunderbird crashes down and it's already severely damaged at that point.
I think the environment plays a bigger factor than I thought initially, too, into this, because thinking about it as well, if the Jersey Devil uses his fire breath on the forest before the storm even starts, that could also fuck the Thunderbird, because then it's breathing in smoke this whole time.
It also can't see, so then carries
Exactly.
for the fucking Jersey Devil.
Yeah, but then again, if it saw that happening, it could just bring in a thunderstorm and clear that out relatively
we already
quickly.
said that it can't really bring in a thunderstorm. If we're going for that the wing flaps and the force and stuff causes a thunderstorm, I don't think it would have enough time before Jersey Devil started just lighting everything up.
It depends on how fast Jersey Devil thought that up. I mean, he's intelligence 5, so I'm not giving this guy any
he's also
easy dubs.
It
I
seems
think
to
that
be
was
like he's a master at being more passive towards everything. He
That's
doesn't
true.
go in for
He
the
might,
attack
yeah.
and he tries and gets away from everything. And that might actually tie into how he is with the kid. The kid doesn't really want to attack everything and wants to be more kind. So that could play a factor into it.
Yeah. I'm saying that this is more like a scenario 1, 2, 3 out of 100 fights. This happens.
My other thing with the forest, I think that'd be more of something that just passively happens throughout the fight. Him shooting off the fire breath, and then the forest would slowly catch on fire, not just instinctively burn down the forest right away.
That's true.
Yeah. It's also where he lives, so
Yeah.
For sure, this fight is looking like hell itself. So
Definitely.
Aesthetically, this fight looks kind of insane. This looks like a comic book fight or something.
it looks like
I'm
the
just having-
apocalypse is starting right in this area.
Yeah,
The thing I'm struggling with is just picking a definite winner.
That's
me too.
Because going into this, after I saw like killing whales and everything, I was thinking the Thunderbird. But this whole like area and thinking about how Jersey Devil is now with the fucking dodging thunder and everything, I just can't pick a winner. Exactly.
This is the most like so many different scenarios this can go fight. I think out of any of the ones we've done in the past, this has so many like different aspects that can throw off either one's game.
It really is just a very even fight. If it was strictly aerial battle, Thunderbird would take it easily, but with the Jersey Devil being able to retreat to the ground, it just makes it a lot harder for somebody to take a definite win.
It's also that with the power that the Thunderbird has, but also the low HP it has, takes in a big factor for it. If it had higher HP, I'd say the Thunderbird could handle much more, but it really can't.
I mean, keep in mind that the Jersey Devil also has low HP, low defense. So either one of these guys, it's only going to take a few hits.
I don't think it's as big, though. Because let's see.
I mean, the power difference is only 1, and actually the Thunderbird has a little bit higher HP. But then again, they also have stats that counter each other. Thunderbird has higher intelligence, as to where the Jersey Devil has all around higher mobility and stealth.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You guys, this is rough.
It is. There's not a scenario that I'm like, okay, this scenario really nails it in the coffin for me. They both have solid rounds against each other.
Yeah, there's no like solid one where I can see it happening more often. Like it's always gonna happen at the start.
Yeah, I think it's like, oh, Thunderbird takes a win, and then the next fight, Jersey Devil gets one, and it just keeps on happening like that. Or like, so one goes on a string of 3 wins, then the other one goes on a string of 3 wins, or something like that. Like this is
the toughest deciding fight we've had so far.
That's true. You beat Wendigo fucking Dogman now.
Yep. I don't know. I keep bouncing back to, I'm going to give Thunderbird the win. And then I just think for a second, I'm like, but Jersey Devil.
I think the 2 biggest things for me is like, I'm like, okay, Thunderbird's got the power. He's definitely going to bring it home. And then I'm like, but Jersey Devil can clip those wings so fast, you know?
It's so hard to say this because of how even it is.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to give Jersey Devil the slight edge in this fight.
I'm thinking Jersey Devil.
I'm kind of sad because I like the Thunderbird, but
Thunderbird
Jersey Devil, I think, brings it home.
It's not that I like the Thunderbird. I just think that the Thunderbird, when you look at the power and what it has, you think it's going to win automatically, and that's what makes you really like hate it, because the Jersey Devil's going to win just because of how low that defense is for the Thunderbird.
Yeah, I think the Thunderbird to me is just kind of cooler overall, but I think that the Jersey Devil, I think definitively he's got to win. He's got to.
I think he just has the slightest advantage, and it's the fact that he can cover 2 grounds while Thunderbird is stuck to the
I don't
air.
think that he has just one advantage, it's more that he has the going to land, and then he can fly, and then he has this ethereal ability, or just the ability to not be affected by some stuff. And that it just many of these small advantages that give Jersey Devil the slight edge for it.
I don't know. I think he does have a lot of abilities, but none of them really sway me to one side. I think the biggest sway for me is that he can cover land and air, which the Thunderbird could as well, just not to his extent. And I think that's really what sways me to slightly pick Jersey Devil more than I would Thunderbird.
Yeah, I definitely, for me, comes down to the same thing. Like, it's such a big disadvantage for the Thunderbird to lose at least even one of its wings, whereas it's not as much for the Jersey Devil. And I think that's going to happen more often than not, because, hell, this Thunderbird's basically all wings, you know?
Yeah. Yep. It's like, its body is probably like 5 or 4'11" feet tall, and then the wings are like literally the bulk of it. They're probably each at least like, I'd say 8 or 7 feet long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really interested when we bring a guest in on our recap to see their take in this fight. Yeah. But I think we have to give Jersey Devil the victory here.
Looks like Jersey Devil just barely squeaks by for the win.
He does. I mean, he is welcomed.
He did beat a pretty big opponent too, so.
Yeah.
He did. He beat somebody in a weight class above his own, which isn't the first time it's happened, but it's the closest time.
Yeah, and he's welcomed into the Hall of Champions.
Yes, he is. Now, with the conclusion to the fight coming, let's talk some believability, starting with the Jersey Devil. Who wants to start us off?
Roger, how about you start us off?
I'm gonna be honest. As much as I like the Jersey Devil as a whole as like a cryptid, I can't really believe it. Even with all this like talk and realism of it, I can't really believe the Jersey Devil. Just the thought of it. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I got zero believability here. I mean, it sounds like a great story, but as soon as demonic comes into play, it kind of throws a lot of things out the window for me, you know?
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page with it, because the whole demonic thing really just detracts from it for me to the point where I don't really believe it. I almost would if they went with more of a chimera aspect as to the Jersey Devil being created by somebody, but it's not the case, and it solely focuses on the demonic aspect.
Yeah, and especially if it wasn't going on like during the witch trials time and stuff like that, I'd believe it a little more, but that time was just a bunch of,
Shenanigans.
yeah, bullshit getting thrown at the wall.
Yeah, no. I love having credit in the cryptids, but this is just one where I don't have any kind of credit for it.
Alright, how about Thunderbird?
Yeah, how about you start us off, Andrew?
I'm gonna go with, in a surprise upset, I actually still have zero believability. Yeah, I got a no-go on that one.
Oh, you almost had me for a second.
He did too.
I knew I did. Yeah,
This guy.
no. I mean, large birds are cool, but like I was saying earlier, as soon as you start moving up with weight, you like triple. I think it's you triple, but your mass goes up exponentially higher. So a bird that big, I don't know if it would even be able to survive. Also, hunting whales like that, like how has no one seen one of these things pick up a whale?
That goes into my believability. I can't really believe this. If it's killing whales and bringing to a nest, how do you not fucking see that in the sky?
And the size of the nest, like, it'd have to be huge.
Yeah, like where are these nests at? Where are you
Yeah,
taking this?
where are
whale?
these fucking birds? And they've got to be super loud. It's pretty much our whole argument for stealth for this thing. It's like this thing would be so obvious.
As much as it has the whole cowboys killing it, and they actually have like proof of it, and there's people that have said they've seen it and everything, we still haven't seen it all. And how do we not see these things when they're fucking killing whales, flying through the sky, bringing it to their nests?
Yeah, 16-foot wingspan. It just
These two will kind of just they seem really cool. They're like a goat man, where they're hella cool, but you can't really believe them.
exactly.
The Thunderbird was one of the first cryptids I ever really had any interest in, but when you look at it objectively, it's just so hard to say that it is real, because like we've said, you'd see something like this. You would see the whales being picked up, you would see these nests. Also, them being in flocks, there's no fucking way you'd miss something like that. Like, you got 5 of these things flying together, yeah, no, you'd see that. And another thing was, what really detracts from the believability is that they've said that there's a photo taken, but of course it's lost to time, possibly burned up in a fire, which really just hurts it for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, something that detracts for me is when people say there's evidence, but the evidence is lost and there's nothing to show for it.
Yeah, it makes it's just an easy way to create like a false sense of evidence,
It's kind of the way for like a tale to start. Like, oh yeah, these tales are lost to time. There's no evidence of it, but it's still a tale.
The only kind of credit I could give to it is something that I give credit to a good amount of the time, is that it has Native American folklore ties, but they could just see a bird very far up in the air, so they think it's large, and then a bird is just trying to get away from the coming storm. So of course a storm would follow this creature.
Yeah, that's true. It could be like an eagle or a fucking what's another big
A vulture.
Vulture that's flying away from a storm, and that's when they see it.
Yeah. I just, like you guys, I can't give much believability into this cryptid as much as it hurts me.
Like I said, it was the same thing with the mean Goat Man. It's how I see him, because I really wanted to believe Goat Man, but there's nothing for Goat Man to be believed in, and that's the same with these two cryptids.
Yeah, they're great stories,
Oh, yeah.
very great stories, but there's just nothing substantial, and there's a lot that takes away from believability through falsities.
He kind of ended. The laptop died.
Oh shit, okay, well, the laptop died that Andrew was talking to us on, so we're gonna have to bring this episode to a close, like right now.
Oh.
So,
Later, guys.
if you wanna, well, no, we still gotta squeeze this part in at the end. If you wanna get in contact to us, in contact with us, you can email us at cryptidversuscryptid@gmail.com. That is
CRYPTID vs CRYPTID @gmail.com.
we do have a Twitter as well. It's at cryptidversus on Twitter. You want to hit us with that one real quick, Roger?
Which is CRYPTID VS.
All right. And that has been Matt, Roger, and Andrew. Now just Matt and Roger. And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Later.
Later.